What's going on, people? Welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV, and welcome back to another Tottenham tier list for you guys, and it is the January performance tier list. I know it's a bit late, guys, but better late than never is what I say. And what we're doing today, if you haven't seen any of our performance tier lists as of yet, we take our player ratings and we average them out over the course of the month, and you can see the 7 tier lists on your screen right now. So it goes from can't judge to awful, not good, okay, good, very good, and excellent. And what that means is if a player hasn't played, they go and can't judge. Awful is 0 to 4, not good is 4 to 5, okay is 5 to 6, good is 6 to 7, very good is 7 to 8, and then excellent is 8 to 10. So it's going to be very interesting because it wasn't the best month, January, let's be honest.
Definitely wasn't. Just to be clear though, we're not doing the Man City game, so those ratings are not included. However, you do get a bonus game of Brentford, which is included in this because there was one game in December.
So basically what we're doing is every game post World Cup apart from the February games.
Yeah.
That is what we're doing. So yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into it, and let's start off with Hugo Lloris, starting off with a big one.
Hugo Lloris, we averaged him for the month at 4.5. He had a really bad month, to be honest. He had games against Aston Villa at home, Palace away, Arsenal at home, Man City away, and Fulham away. For me, he averaged a 4 for the month. For you, he averaged a 5, thanks to an 8 he got in the Palace game. But obviously, mistakes against Aston Villa, Arsenal, and Man City led to a very poor showing this month for Hugo.
Yeah, and out of the clean sheets that we did make in that month, we had Crystal Palace, where he wasn't really called upon that much in that game. Portsmouth, he didn't play. Preston, he didn't play, and the Fulham game as well. Look, it was not a month to remember for Hugo. Let's be honest.
Yeah, 2 out of 10s for me in that month. Bloody hell,
really poor. But anyway, Hugo goes into not good.
Not good.
4.5.
Not awful. Right? 4.5 for the average. All right, he's lucky to avoid an awful.
Yeah, so I think one of my scores must have just pushed him above.
Just
the
about.
Stage,
I would have had him in awful, but yeah.
All right, let's move on. And Fraser Forster comes up next. Played in the Preston game, the Portsmouth game, and the Brentford game.
5.5. We got him as decent, but not great in the Brentford game. Portsmouth, not much to do. Preston away, not much to do. So pretty average. So 5.5.
Okay.
Goes in okay.
Forster is okay.
Pretty much was okay.
Yeah, he was okay, and better than Hugo Lloris.
No, definitely.
Unbelievable to think. But anyway, next up is Ben Davis.
Ben Davis, we got him averaging at a 5.5.
So Ben Davis, let's see how many games he played throughout the month. So Brentford, he came on in the last minute. Played 90 minutes against Villa, 90 minutes against Portsmouth, 77 minutes against City, 90 minutes against Fulham. Didn't play against Preston and was a late sub against Crystal Palace. We gave him a 4 out of 10 for the Man City game, which dragged his rating down. Maybe he would have got over 6 if it wasn't for that. We gave him a 4 out of 10 for that. He got
5.5 overall.
Same as Fraser.
Yeah, so in the okay.
Okay.
Although against obviously we're not counting the Man City game, but Fulham away he was pretty good. Portsmouth was pretty good, so that's all right.
Clement Longley,
5.3.
Also in the okay bracket again. I've not been that impressed with Longley. I mean, I think in games where we've played well and he's played, I think he's done a good job, especially in that Preston game. I thought he played well in that game, getting in those areas just outside the box, putting in good balls into the box. But I feel like whenever we play a serious opposition, he is kind of found wanting a little bit. He played that game at the Etihad, didn't have a good game when we lost 4-2. And apart from that, is it quite telling when I'm looking at these? Like, the only games he started in January was Villa, Portsmouth, and Man City. Oh, he started Fulham as well, to be fair.
So Fulham away. Yeah, he hasn't had the best month. He's definitely been found wanting a lot on the left-hand side. He did have a brief spell in the centre of the centre-back where he performed.
Like 2 games there,
he performed okay. And then Villa at home. To be fair, Villa at home wasn't so much his fault. A lot of it was down to mistakes. We weren't really conceding much. But a lot of his the rating, you gave him a 1 out of 10 for Man City away, obviously for that bad mistake.
Yeah.
That's dragged it down a bit. But he had decent displays in Preston and Palace, it says here. And Brentford, we both gave him a 7.
I thought Longley came on in the last 10 minutes in that game.
He did.
Oh, they've got it wrong here. They said he's played 77 minutes in that game.
In the Man City game.
Yeah.
He came on.
He came on, and then all he did was make that mistake.
Yeah, pretty much.
All he did. So, all right. Clement Longley also goes into OK. Next up is Eric Dyer.
5. We have him as a 5.
So
you gave him a 5.4. I gave him a 4.6.
So we're putting him in not good or OK because that's like the cutoff. Did he get exactly 5?
He got exactly 5. Wow. So I think he just. I would say 4. I would say 4 to 4.9, and then 5. That's how I would do it.
All right. So he goes in OK as well.
Just about. If I had him as awful, I had him 4.6. I think. Let me see what rating pumped him up for you. His performance against. You had him a 7 against Fulham, 7 against Palace, and a 6 against Arsenal, whereas that probably bumped him up a bit for you. I had him a 4 against Arsenal, so I got him a 4.6.
4 against Arsenal. I mean, there was one game I can't remember who was it against that I thought he played really well against. What was my biggest rating for him?
You gave him a 7 against Fulham.
Yeah, I think it was that game. I thought he played well. Yeah.
And Palace, you gave him a 7 as well. So just about sneaks into OK. Eric Dyer.
Just about lucky boy Eric Dyer. Next up is Japhet Tanganga. Didn't play too many games, but he had a good performance against Preston, and he played against Portsmouth. Those are the only 2. Oh, he played against Brentford as well, which he had a poor game in.
Yeah, we have him at. Sorry, I've actually think I've done this wrong. 5.1, I think.
How's that possible?
1 sec. No, 1 minute. I think I've done it wrong. 5.8. 5.8 we have him.
Preston, I think I gave him an 8, right?
Preston, you gave him a 7.
Oh, 7. Okay. Portsmouth?
7.74. I gave him an 8 apparently against Preston.
Okay.
8.63. Portsmouth 7. And then Brentford 4.
Right.
And I gave him a 3 against Brentford.
Brings it
so that all the way down. So it's 5.8 overall.
5.8. Top performing centre back though.
Apparently, he's our best centre back this month so far. Anyway,
he also goes in OK.
A lot of OKs so far.
Next up is Big Dave, Davinson Sanchez.
6.2. 6.2
How many
average.
games did he play?
He played 3 games.
Portsmouth.
Brentford, Portsmouth, and Preston. So, I mean, the easiest games apart from Brentford.
And look, he didn't. I mean, there were a few worrying signs.
And he only got a 6.2.
Yeah.
He played Portsmouth and Preston and only got
There were worrying signs in all those games, to be honest, from Davinson Sanchez. So,
especially the Preston game.
Yeah.
He was very dodged in that one, in that a few moments. But
6.2 though, he's going in good.
He goes in good. He's had a good month. Well done, Davinson.
Cuti Romero.
Cuti Romero 6.
6. He's also
averaging
going
a 6. Good. Yeah.
Look, I think Romero. He had a few maybe dodgy games coming back from the World Cup, but I think his performances has grown each game on pretty much.
We gave him a decent rating against Man City, even though we got pummeled because he was one of our better players. But Arsenal, he didn't get a good rating. Villa as well wasn't a great rating. But other than that, 8 against Palace, 7 against Fulham as well. So he had some good performances in there. But I averaged him a 5.6. You averaged him a 6.4, so you rated him a bit higher than me.
Okay.
So thanks to you. Romero has you to thanks to get into the good.
Go on, Cuti. Go on, Cuti. All right. This is going to be a telling one. Ryan Sessegnon. We have our first. I think he just about sneaks into not good. 4.1. 4.1. No, that's not good.
Not good. He sneaks in.
3.9 was the cutoff.
3.9. Wow.
Look,
He got a 6 against Portsmouth, and other than that, 4s and 3s and terribleness.
Mm-hmm. So if it wasn't for that Portsmouth game saved him this month big time.
You averaged him a 4.6 actually. I averaged him a 3.6.
Wow. It's that Portsmouth game, isn't it?
That Portsmouth game just about sneaks him into. I gave him I gave him a 5 against Portsmouth. You gave him a 6. Yeah, that just about got him into not good.
I'm saving everyone here. I'm saving everyone here. I'm doing God's work. Ryan Sessegnon goes in.
Yeah, to be honest, he was poor the last month. In every game, he wasn't confident, no quality about him.
Yeah.
He's had a really bad setback this month.
Yeah, he really has. Look, I think he's had a really poor season, Ryan Sessegnon, on a whole, to be honest. You're really thinking of the back end of last season, it looked like he was starting to progress and starting to kick on. And it just hasn't materialised in that way this season at all, really, for Ryan Sessegnon. But next one is Emerson Royale, bearing in mind his last performance won't be in there.
6.4.
6.4, so
6.4, he goes in good. I gave him a 6.5, you gave him a 6.3. He played 3 games, Man City away, Fulham away, and Preston away. Preston, actually, we gave him the worst result of all of them. Man City away, he got a 7, and Fulham away, he got a 7. So he did fairly well in those games.
Well, it kind of makes sense because at Preston, we dominated the ball. We were the ones on the front foot, and we were asked to, go and really attack them. And Emerson, that's not his forte. But in the other 2 games, maybe Fulham put us under maybe a bit more pressure than Preston did. Well, a lot more, and obviously Man City is Man City. So it kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, so look, fair play to Emerson Royale, 6.4. He has had a good month, to be fair, and he's carried that on against Man City.
Yeah, and if this Man City game would be counted, he'd probably go into very good.
Potentially.
Pedro Porro, can't judge. Next up is Ivan Perisic.
Perisic has had a poor month, 5.3. 5.3 this month. You've averaged him. We both averaged him a 5.3 actually throughout the whole month. He played 6 games. Brentford, Villa, Palace, then Man City, Fulham, and Preston up front. He played up front against Preston, didn't he?
Yeah.
Obviously, we both gave him 2s out of 10 against Man City, which was a horror show from him. Arsenal. He didn't play against Arsenal, sorry. Against Palace and against Brentford, we both gave him 7s. So he had a decent game, but then Villa at home 5, Fulham away 5. Preston, we only gave him a 6. He didn't really impact the game too much. He did get an assist, though. Wasn't a great month for Perisic, especially a Man City game. He was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that brings it down a lot, that Man City game. But it's like, when you're thinking up Perisic in January, that's the first game you're going to think of, aren't you? It's the first one that sticks to your mind, and Perry needs to be doing a bit better. But in the last game, which we will obviously bring in the February tier list, he did have a better showing than he had at the Etihad. So I guess that's positive, but we're putting him in okay, is it?
Okay.
Perry, okay, Perry. Next up is Ollie Skip. Only sub appearances, isn't it?
Yes, he made. He actually averaged a 6 out of 3 games. He played against Palace away, he played against Portsmouth at home, and he played against Preston away. He got a 5.67.
5.67.
Yeah, so improving
every game. And that cameo was against Preston
yeah.
when he came on. He was brilliant, and it's the best I've seen him play in a while, albeit against the Preston side, a beaten Preston side as well later on in the game. I would like to see him get a few more minutes because it's something that I haven't seen from Ollie Skip this season, really.
Yeah, hopefully that Preston game was the first sign of him improving, because he looks a bit rusty so far, but I believe in his quality, so hopefully he'll get some more game time.
So he goes in good.
He goes into good, yeah, sneaks into good. Wow, okay.
Pierre-Emile Højbjerg.
He has had a fairly poor month, 5.1 average rating.
He also goes into okay.
I averaged him a 5. You averaged him a 5. I averaged him a 5.2. He had 6 games against Brentford, Villa, Palace, and then Arsenal, City, and Fulham. Arsenal, City, and Fulham. 3 5-pointers in a row.
So another one in the OK camp.
Yeah, just about sneaks into the OK, thanks to one decent, because he scored against Brentford and he had a decent game. So because of that 7 out of 10, that sneaks him. Otherwise, he would have been in the not good category. A bit lucky to avoid that.
Very lucky, Pierre, in my opinion, because I've made it clear on my thoughts on Pierre since coming back from the World Cup, but he did put his best performance of recent times in against Man City, so hopefully that's a sign of things to come. Next up is Pape Matar Sarr.
Sarr, we have our first 7 of the month. 2 games, 1 against Portsmouth, 1 against Arsenal. Gave him an 8 and a 6. So that averages out to a 7, and that goes into very good.
Yeah, amazing. Because I've been really impressed with Pape Matar since he's come in. He's had a few good cameos. One against Crystal Palace, started against Arsenal, was one of our better performers. And in the Cups as well against Portsmouth, he played really well. So, yeah, I'm really happy with Pape Matar and happy that he's going into very good.
Finally, we snuck one in there. Absolutely brilliant.
Let's see if we can sneak this next guy in there, and that is Yves Bissouma.
Yves Bissouma, I don't think he sneaks into very good. 5.4 average rating for January.
So another okay.
Another okay. I guess Spurs in general just been okay. I gave him a 5.5. You gave him a 5.3. So averages out for a 5.4. Games against only 4 games. Brentford,
4 starts.
Brentford, Villa, Man City and Preston. Not 4 starts. He didn't start against City, did he?
No.
He came on, but the 2 starts against Brentford and Villa, 4s out of 10. Wow. So poor. But he did get away with an 8 out of 10 against Preston, which drags up.
Yeah, and I was really impressed with him in that game. I mean, again, it's a bit telling that with all these players, we're saying, oh, what a performance against Preston.
Yeah, Preston's saving a lot of these players.
You know what I mean? So next up is Rodrigo Bentancur.
Rodrigo Bentancur, 6.8. One of
Wow.
our better performers.
6.8.
6.8.
So that's in good.
That's in good. You averaged him a 7. I averaged him a 6.7. So I've let him down here.
You let Rodri down, man.
Poor
Which
guy.
is the games that let him down?
It was actually Preston. He got a 6 out of 10 out against Preston. Otherwise, it would have been a 7.
Preston is proper the difference maker in January,
It is
isn't it?
because he got 7s. He only started 3 games because he was injured. So Man City away, Fulham away, and Preston away. He started. He got 7-7-6 for me, and for you, he got 7-7-7. I think. No, he got 8-7-6. He got for you, so averaged out to a 7.
Yeah.
So he just misses out on very good. I think it's a bit harsh, but he just
I think it's harsh.
is what it is.
Dejan Kulusevski,
6.6.
6.6. So another one that goes
6.6.
into the good category.
I averaged him 6.4. You averaged him 6.8. So just about evens out to a 6.
So it's what, he only scored 1 goal that month, didn't he, against Man City?
He scored against Man City. He got, for you, he was pretty consistent. He got a 7 against Brentford. Then he was injured for a few games. Came back against Arsenal. Got a 6 out of 10. Then 3 7s in a row against City, Fulham, and Preston. And then I gave him a 5 against Arsenal, which took him down quite a bit. And I only gave him a 6 against Fulham as well.
Doing Decky a disservice there, Sin.
Because of me, he's not going into very good. Only gets the good.
Next up is Arnaut Danjuma. 1 sub appearance, 1 goal, and that was obviously his debut against Preston.
7.5.
All right, here we go. Danjuma goes into very good.
I mean, it was a very good 15-minute cameo, wasn't it? He got a goal, was looking bright. Fair play to him. He's lucky he avoids the can't judge.
Well, you know what? These 2 players that are in very good, you've got 2 starts between them.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much goes to show how our month of January has been, to be honest.
Next up is Sonny.
Heung-min Son, 5.3. Not great month for Sonny boy. You gave him a 5.3. I gave him a 5.4, so just about averages to a 5.3. He had 8 games. I think he only didn't play. No, he played every game. He played every. Played every game. Played every game. And really poor. He did get a 7 against Palace and he got a 9 against Preston. But other than that, didn't get above really a 5. He did get 1 3 out of 10 for you against Man City and a 3 out of 10 against Aston Villa. So poor display, poor showing. He did so for the month. He got 3 goals, 2 against Preston, 1 against Palace.
Yeah.
So 3 goals in 8 games. On the face of it, that wasn't bad. But when he was bad, he was really bad. That's the thing.
Just like when he's been bad this season, he just goes vanishing out the game. You know what I mean? And obviously he had a really good performance against Preston, but apart from that, all lackluster displays. And he came back against Man City for next month's tier list and played well. So hopefully we're going to be talking about much different Sonny in the tier list in the next month. But unfortunately for this month, he goes into okay.
3 goals in 8 games is pretty okay for him, I guess.
Lucas Moura goes into can't judge.
Yes, no games, didn't play at all.
Richarlison
Can't judge.
He hardly played as can't judge as
Can't
well.
judge, didn't play at all.
Wow.
Didn't play at all in January.
So now there's 2 left, and it's Harry Kane, record breaker Harry Kane. Where does he go? Obviously, this month doesn't cover the record-breaking game, but
6.5.
6.5. How many goals did he get in January?
He scored against, to be fair, he scored against Brentford. He scored against 2 against Palace, 1 against Portsmouth, and 1 against Fulham. So 5 goals in 8 games. And he just still doesn't get into the very good category.
Why is he only getting into...
Because why is he only getting into good and not very good? So 7 games, sorry, 5 goals in 7 games. What lets him down, he got a 3 out of 10 against Aston Villa. And he got 2 6s against Arsenal and Man City out of 10. Lets him down. The other games, he got an 8 out of 10 against Fulham, 9 out of 10 against Palace, and 7 out of 10 against Brentford. So he did have some strong showings, but unfortunately, his performances in the North London derby at the Etihad and especially Aston Villa at home really let him down.
So he goes into the good.
I gave him a 6.6, you gave him a 6.4. So he, unfortunately only goes into good. He got 5 goals in 7 games and is only good.
Mad. It's mad to say that, to be honest, but here's a few games letting the average down. And last but not least, it is Antonio Conte.
Antonio Conte, 6.1. 6.1.
So he goes into good as well.
He just about sneaks in there. Some good, obviously, of Spurs in January. Very mixed results. Obviously, 2 wins in the FA Cup definitely helps him. Against Portsmouth and against Preston. He got 4 out of 10 for the Arsenal game, which I thought he didn't do tactically very well at all. We didn't maybe mark him as harshly as we could have against Man City, only 6s out of 10 for those games. But Aston Villa as well. Villa and Arsenal, the big ones for him, will let him down, both 4s out of 10.
All right. So that completes the tier list. If you bring it up one more time, we'll go through tier by tier. So... excellent, you had no one in excellent this month, which is crazy. In very good, you had Pape Matar and Arnaut Danjuma, who had limited playing time, so that boosted their average up. And in good, you had Davinson Sanchez, Kuti Romero, Emerson Royale, Oli Skip, Rodrigo Bentancur, Dejan Kulusevski, Harry Kane, and Antonio Conte. In okay, you've got Fraser Forster, Ben Davis, Clement Longley, Eric Dyer, Japhet Tanganga, Ivan Perisic, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Yves Bissouma and Heung-min Son. In not good, you've got Hugo Lloris and Ryan Sessegnon. No one in awful, which I would probably disagree with. And in can't judge, you've got Pedro Porro, Lucas Moura and Richarlison, who didn't have a kick in January. So do you think that's fair?
I think Kane could have been a bit higher. Bentancur could have been a bit higher. They probably both deserve to go into very good. I think
Sessegnon a bit lower.
Yeah, I think Sessegnon and I think Dyer could have gone into not good as well. I think he's very lucky to avoid it, that and go into okay.
Well.
Longley's a bit lucky as well to only be an okay. And Lloris is not good. He could be an awful, to be fair. Lloris is a bit lucky.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably go... If I was doing this without looking at the ratings or anything, I'd probably go Dyer and Longley in not good, Lloris and Sessegnon in awful, and I'd probably put Kane and Bentancur in very good.
Yeah, that's what I'll change it. Excellent. I don't think anyone really deserves an excellent over that month.
I mean, 5 goals in 7 games for Harry Kane.
It's hard, yeah, it's true. But it's big games he went missing, which is a bit of a shame. I get, well, he's a bit unlucky against us. He actually played well, but...
And I'd probably mark Sonny down to not good as well, to be fair.
He's in okay.
Awful. Even awful.
Well, 3 goals out of 8 in 8 games.
True, but 2 of those come against Preston.
He played all right against Palace, I guess.
Yeah.
I think he probably... Not good would... I don't think awful's fair. I think not good probably.
All right. Yeah, I probably agree with that. But look, I think for the majority, it's fair.
Pretty sound, I think, yeah.
But we'll have to see how it pans out next month. Obviously, we've kicked it off with a big victory against Man City. So the numbers are very high at the start of February. Let's hope we can keep it up. But let me know your thoughts on this tier list, where you think the players should be and where you think your opinions on how we've rated them as well. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always,
come on, you Spurs.